Welcome to Larry the Alchemist, and welcome to another edition of Heavy Thoughts. This is where I share with you what's been on my mind lately. I actually started making another video, and then this second thought came to me, and I thought, you know what, this deserves maybe its own video. And the thought is, and I'm curious, do you wish that more bands would do shows for the diehard fans? And what I mean by that is this other video that I was doing, I'm not going to give the topic to that yet because I'm not quite finished with it. I commented that I had made a video a while back, I'll try to remember to link it, where I talked about how I'm getting tired of going to big shows. The price of the tickets, the parking, the getting there, the getting home, the expensive food, the whole experience, outdoor things, big arenas. I just don't like it as much anymore. And it got me thinking that, and I've mentioned this to other people too, in the context of Iron Maiden specifically, but you could really do this for any artist. I wish that let's take Iron Maiden. I wish that they might go out and do a show, let's say in a theater, a large theater, let's say an 8 to 10,000 seat venue. No stage show, just Iron Maiden with amplifiers on stage, maybe their logo hanging in a banner on the back, and do a show for the diehards. Don't play Run to the Hills, don't play Number of the Beast, don't play Fear of the Dark, play deep cuts. And I mean, if you want to do some more popular songs, I guess that's fine. But a show that's there for the diehards, maybe even advertise it that way, the diehard tour or something. I don't know, that doesn't sound very catchy, but you get what I mean. You let people know in advance that, hey, for this show, you're not going to get the standard songs that you may expect to hear. Maybe by doing it in a smaller theater, lower production, you could have the ticket prices be reasonable. I personally would very much love that kind of setting. I'm at the age, and this is what I was talking about in this other video, that all this stuff with like fireworks and inflatables and backdrops and electronic screens and all this other stuff, it doesn't really mean anything to me anymore. You know, I saw Deep Purple not that long ago on their most recent tour at the Hard Rock Casino in Tampa. And that's not a huge room, and the stage isn't huge. They just had a thing in the back with their name on it, like some kind of electronic thing, but it just had their name on it, and it was just them. They didn't even have that many amplifiers. I can't remember if they even had amplifiers. They might have had in-ear. I think they had amps on stage. But it was just a very simple setup. And I loved it. I didn't need any more. There was no point in the show where I sat there and I was like, man, I wish that there were some big inflatable things, or I wish that they would shoot off some fireworks, or, you know, where's all the screens with the stuff flashing on it constantly? No, I didn't think that at all. It was sit back, enjoy the music. I'm totally into that. And I'd much rather bands, and I get it, they make more money by playing in a stadium, but maybe by cutting the costs, doing a more straightforward, straight ahead show that they play a lot of deep cuts, things they've never played before, things they haven't played in a while. I personally think that would be much more enjoyable. In fact, I would even pay more probably for that than I would for a stadium show, because at least in a theater, it's smaller. It's usually easier to manage it. It feels more intimate. You know, 8,000 to 10,000 people is half the size of a hockey arena type of thing. And I think that there's a bunch of artists that could do stuff like this. I mean, I know there's bands that do like these unannounced club shows and stuff like that, but those are always in venues that are so small. They never announce it in advance, and it's always this, like, you know, you have to be super lucky to get into things like that. But why not come and set up for two? Go to just, if you want to just do major cities and set up for 2 or 3 days at a theater. And again, I'm going to keep using Iron Maiden as the example. Imagine if Iron Maiden came into New York, found a 8 to 10,000 seat place. What's Radio City Music Hall? I don't know what the capacity. Let's say Radio City Music Hall, and did 2 or 3 days in a row. And they also said that they were going to be mixing up the set list a lot across those 3 days. I mean, that would be, I think that would be super cool. And if they did that in a bunch of the major cities, so if you live somewhere that maybe you're not in a major city, you're close enough, let's say within a couple hour drive or something like that, you could still go and see it. And I think that there's a bunch of bands that could do this, that could do these more intimate shows. I would very much be more into that. Judas Priest could do the same thing. Yeah, if Scorpions, maybe, I don't know, are the Scorpions still touring? There's just anybody who's a Metallica could probably pull it off. Just any of these bands that it almost feels like they're sort of trapped in this thing where we're playing at an arena, so thus we have to have a lot of stuff for an arena crowd, and it doesn't. And again, just at my age where I'm at right now, all that stuff doesn't mean anything to me. I would much rather, like the way I saw Deep Purple in a more intimate setting like that, just the band getting up on stage with amplifiers. I think that would be super, super cool. Go back and watch Iron Maiden live at the Rainbow with Paul Di'Anno. They're just up on stage. I mean, Eddie comes out at one point, somebody with a Eddie mask on. I mean, it's very just low key. I mean, watch, and I've talked about this before, but like watch Led Zeppelin Song Remains the Same at Madison Square Garden. The stage, they're like practically on top of each other. And there's lights there, but they're changing colors, but it's not a light show in sort of the sense of the way we have light shows nowadays. So I'm really thinking that's the way a lot of artists did it back then in the 70s. They just got up on stage and they played. And I kind of wish that more bands would do that now, or maybe take some time out for the Diehard fans, do some shows that maybe the Diehard fans might be able to really appreciate. Because that's the other thing too. I'm getting fatigued of, yeah, you go out and you know that you're gonna get some new stuff, and you're gonna get one or two maybe surprise songs that they haven't done in a while, but then you're going to get these songs that you've heard a million times over. And I get why they have to do that in those settings. I always use this example of when I saw Black Sabbath on the 13 tour, some 12, 13-year-old kid in front of me. He's going crazy the whole show. They for their encore, they play Paranoid. The kid is going absolutely berserk, air guitaring. He turns around and he looks at me and he goes, "This is my favorite Black Sabbath song. I was hoping they were going to play this." So the kid probably just discovered Black Sabbath like a year ago, and he's here and he wants to hear Paranoid. I get it. Maybe still do some shows like that, but maybe a diehard circuit tour that these bands could do that I think would be super, super cool. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Let's use Iron Maiden as an example, or Judas Priest or Metallica, whoever you want to insert there. Would you pay to see them in a smaller setting with just a stripped down stage type of thing? Would you pay for that? Would you enjoy it? Or would you miss all the fireworks and the big screens and all the other stuff that goes with the bigger shows? So let me know in the comments down below. Till we see you again, make sure you rock hard, ride free.